bald man said. This year, there are a total of 5 VCs. Kim must have taken 3 of them. That's 2 guys from the little spirit world. One is the 5 elements. One is 8. It's also our toughest opponent. Now, there's more to the struggle. Maybe even harder to deal with. This bald head is Han Qing. Of the Divine Root 5 products, Wang Yang objected. If you two, they're also participating in the selection process. We have to wait another year. It's not acceptable. When asked, King Yang said, the others, we dare not move. But these newcomers are pretty easy to get rid of. To raise the power, photographer and 6 adventurers will definitely participate in the practice, as long as they separate themselves from the. Then we have a chance. Welded net, confirm correct. I'm sure in 3 days they will go. But the lab area also has 3. King Yang said, leave it to me. As long as they show up. In any training area. I'll notify everyone right away. Wang Yang seriously said that the young master will soon. Very good stack. Half an hour after the retreat with 6 adventurers walking outside. The photographer looked up at the wall. Let's see what the mission is. Surprisingly, there are so many hunting missions. Need to have super Vietnamese Lin love. You can exchange spirit stones. 6 also said collect 10 materials to create weapons. There's nothing we can do, sad to say. This stone is hard to find. Of course, the god of lead. The gods have limited control. The number of gods is limited. How many disciples are there? If AI also has a part, it's not worth much. 6 adventurers scratching their heads, asking how do we do this? Try to see other tasks. If we fight and kill, we can't do it. Writing is fine. He looked at a mission. Tell me what we can do. 6 then he tilted his head and asked, what mission is this? When the old lady lamb of the old town cultivation had a problem. Strangely infected, can't get out of bed. If there's someone who's good at medicine, it can cure Miss Cho Lamb. The prize is 1,000 stones. 6 amazing adventures say 1,000. It's not the family of Kier, Sao. There's money. Ask the photographer if you have a solution. But the announcement says they've invited a lot of names. But they can't be cured. Maybe not. You saw the old lady's appearance. I want to go flirting. The photographer also stopped. Immediately speak up. It's better to save a life than to build 7 towers. Do you understand? If you don't try, you will know. Lake situation. We also have a Master of Arts. 6 is so confident. Look here, go to practice to the ghost fire. At least hundreds of people. If we can cure them all. It's not a Sao fortune. Smiling, you want me to be tired. The power of the gods is complicated. We have to be careful every step. If you don't have to feel like the senior is also NDTO. I'm not going to do it either. If you have any trouble, it's not good. Remembering the old story. I also heard about this in my previous life. She's the billionaire of the family. It's a mystical goddess. I heard that when I was young, I met. Try to be half paralyzed. I can only sit in a wheelchair. I can't practice anymore. But she lived to be over 200 years old. I heard the swordsman's words. You can train to the extreme. It's based on Lamb. Through her many legendary stories. Let's see if it's okay. 6 adventurers also said I could cure the late Lady Ra's disease. You can't get that spirit stone in DTO. He said he wanted to invite us to dinner. The lawyer grabbed the sign and said, "Let's go. Let's make some money. Make 6 adventurers laugh. I told you to take care of her illness. Let's talk about it later." Long and Gugu Urban Injury Ba. This family, it is the most powerful force in the universe. Compared to the Kim Deem family, seriously, I don't know how high. If I could save the old lady, at least try to be careful. You can build a good relationship. 6. When you hear that, you nod. A moment later, the two of them arrived at the barn's door. 6 Adventure said, "The address on the message is here in real time." The photographer said the door was closed. Then a servant came out and said hello. "Who are you looking for?" The photographer honestly replied, "We see the mission message. Related to the late lamb. That's why I came here to see it. Can you cure the lady?" Here finished listening. Look at the two of them at once. He said, "You should still go back." The photographer was surprised to ask if it had been cured. Here said the lady's illness tried to come to my house. We've invited all the celebrities. Medical information in Vu Than Tong, but they can't be cured. My husband has been coming to see Miss Cho for a few days. Less than 1,000 people. There must be hundreds of people. How old are you two? Come on. High voice photographer. It's interesting, my lady. You're looking for a doctor. They haven't shown me the disease yet. Why did you say I couldn't cure it? You almost missed the lady's treatment. Can you carry it? The name Kier finished listening hesitantly. There are 6 jokes. Then he suddenly appeared and asked what had happened. Suddenly appeared next to 6 Adventures. Make him jerk shot people screaming. Where are you going? Trying to tell their servants to come and find me. The servant's name immediately followed. Then quietly turned and left, leaving 3 aggressive young men here. 6 in a hurry. We heard that the housewife is sick. So let's see if we can cure her. I am amazed to ask you what you know. The photographer nodded in confirmation. Makes you hesitate for a few seconds. Then lead the way, say, so follow me. She led the two of them inside with a sigh. Let's talk about the disease. Billion. We're the target of a very elite generation. And billions. He is the best. In the current generation. But one day, he was practicing. Suddenly, there's a problem of partial paralysis. I can't practice anymore. No one can find the cause. I thought, as I tried to say, maybe the dog has become a sacrifice. In the family's power struggle. Even the family in the temple. The power of the universe. What is the game like? They quickly arrived in front of a court. A girl is sitting. Sad to see the water below. Sad people are never happy. Read out 2 poems. Once the spring is rosy. Woe to those who know no one. Try to lead 2 friends forward to call billions. The white face looked over and said, "You're back. I try to look at my sister, and it hurts." Tears fell softly. He looked at the 2 people behind him in wonder. Try to answer. These 2 are my friends. That surprised Lamb a little bit. Look at the lamb, that 6 affectionate adventure thought. Billions are so young. I was sick and could only sit in a chair. It's a joke. And the photographer here is quiet and doesn't say anything. He just stood there watching the late lamb's nuance. I am reminded that you are staring at me. Billions don't seem very happy. The doctor said she was not sick. They are not possessed by ghosts. It makes 6 amazing adventures. He added that he was poisoned by people. He looked silly and looked at him. Terrified, screaming, poison, Sao. You said my sister was poisoned. The glass insists. Listen, Lam here is silent. Try to get angry. It's because there were so many doctors before. There is no one looking out. The photographer explained. Rosehip vase plus fruit soap. This herb combines fruit soap. It could be a poison. Colorless, odorless, tasteless. After feeding into the meridians, gradually blockage. Cultivation does not increase, but the poisoned. There are no symptoms of poisoning at all. Lam was surprised at this moment. Try to turn to the billions. It seems that what the photographer said was true. The photographer claims that it is. Suddenly, he rushed to grab the photographer's hand. Impatient to ask, so how can this poison be solved, not cured? The photographer replied that there was no need to hurry. The lady was poisoned not for a day or two. There is no need to rush before you arrive. I thought the disease was normal. Think it can be easily cured. But after observing her state, I was definitely poisoned. It was very poisoned. You are in a hurry to say that. You need to think about how to get a license. Just cured for billions. I agree with you on everything. 2 billion for us to see each other as our lives. We can't lose that billion. But the photographer thought, if it's not cured, you'll live to be over 200 years old. Then rest assured. I came for the mission. On the notice board Lao, still 1,000 spirit stones. I'm just worried. Is it safe here now? If anyone knows that I helped the lady detoxify, can we send someone to assassinate her again? Try to lower your voice without worrying. Now we know where the enemy is. If you can cure me. Of course, we will hide it. In the eyes of outsiders, I am still a monster. Regent approves. Then there's no other way. She had been poisoned for at least 3 years. Taking strong drugs, the lady's meridians could not bear. Let me give you a prescription to drink it first. Waiting for the toxin to slowly dissolve, then thoroughly treat the root. He wrote a prescription and gave it to her. He took it and was excited to talk. I'll go get my medicine right away. 6 unexpected adventures. Medicine in Long Ku area is not the same. Where we can find it. The photographer is no different. 6 surprising questions so you know what parts. The photographer replied confidently, I know the reason. 10 of course. He looked at Lam. She bowed her head and thanked him for his help. The regent replied to the trustee. Just dear best miss. Please don't be rude. I said, look at each other quietly. Make the atmosphere awkward. 6 adventure to find a topic to talk about. Lam is now asking. I don't know where you came from. When you hear from the world of the little Lin Lam. The surprised Lam told me. When I was a kid, a teacher came from there. That sounds amazing. Immediately asked. I don't know what the old lady's teacher was. She laughed and said, my teacher didn't use a name before. It's demonic. And he hasn't come in 5 years. We don't know where we are. When to show up. Otherwise, we wouldn't have come to this. I only know that my master's practice VI is very beneficial. To fake martial arts scene 5 heaven. Not our rival either. The photographer was surprised to say, little Lin Long world, there are such bad people. I think it's a pity. Len doesn't even know his real name. I want to get to know that person a while later. She rushed to the fire and said happily, "The medicine is finally finished," but almost slipped and fell. Made 6 adventurers shoot people. He hurriedly brought the medicine and said, "This is my medicine. Hurry up and drink." Lamb happily took it and drank it all. Try to sit by and complain. Really is who threw their tray on the ground. But when he came, he was surprised. "When you run out of medicine, thank you." He was nervous to ask why. Try to close your eyes and feel your body. It makes everyone look anxiously. She opened her eyes and said something had changed. "I have felt it. There's been a change in the pulse." Lamb then turned to photography. "Thank you very much for helping." The photographer laughed softly. "Miss, you're welcome. It can be cured, my lady." "It's too good." "Lady, follow this prescription for a month. I'll change the prescription a month later. Make sure the medicine is gone." "You're happy to say that." "Thank you, photographer. This is the enemy for the treatment you gave my sister. Take care if you have anything to help you with in the future. Just say, we'll do our best." Photographer exclaimed 1,500 spirit stones. Then say, "It is also clearly written on your notice. There are only 1,000 spirit stones. I have not been completely cured, my dear. Received 500 before. Wait until the lady is gone. I'll take the rest," he said and threw the ring back. I tried to take it and breathe out a breath. Vietnamese 6 adventure. "You two are my brothers." 6. When you hear it, you are stupid. You never considered me a brother before. Being in a hurry is not the point. Formerly my distant cousin. He is now a brother. Lamb tried to listen and smiled. The photographer then told me to try. "Take care of your sister. We have to go home too. After that, your food and drink. Pay attention." She nodded in agreement. Soon the 2 of them left. Try to look over here in the shadow of their backs. Lamb tried to ask the younger brother, "Why do you know the 2 of them?" She replied that they were all new classmates. I was surprised to ask the same class. Try to explain. They're all geniuses who have a spiritual background. Especially the photographer. To reach the spiritual root 8 products, you guys just got to know each other. I can't believe the photographer's magic is so high. The doctors before. There is no AI to diagnose the disease of billions. But he only glanced and knew it was really powerful. Ko Lam exclaimed the 8th grade of the heavenly spirit root. Unexpectedly has such extraordinary talent. Knowledgeable in medicine and still so young. Unknown future. How will the photographer succeed? Nie Li on the way back to the academy 6 questions. Nie Li, they gave you so many spirit stones. Why not accept? Your face is not thick enough. Nie Li smiled and replied, "Gentlemen only love talented people, not bound by money. Do you understand the love between senior and elder sister? Feel deeply. I think those 1,500 spirit stones were their entire fortune. 500 pills are enough for us to use for a long time. Why do you have to take all of someone's spirit stones?" 6 votes yes, that is correct. Moreover, each student has a natural spiritual root. Only 5 spirit stones are given each month. This time we get 500 pills in a row. Stupid face protecting senior has 1,500. Immediately exclaimed, "He is so rich." Nie Li burst out laughing, "Haha. First, I will give you 100 pills. Worry about practicing." 6 happy laughter. Nie Li reminds to practice well. Don't take it and spend it. A moment later, the two of them returned to Tiugu's courtyard. Just entered and saw him fumbling around looking for something. Nie Li asked, "What are you doing?" The slogan immediately turned around and said, "I'm looking for you. Why did you take so long to go out? Not in danger." Nie Li laughed, "Haha. Don't worry, we just went out for a walk. Get a lot of spirit stones. Bring back to share with you some," said, and threw the bag of spirit stones to the motto. Smile lightly, thinking, even though we haven't known each other long, but the motto really cares about us. It is really dedicated. Although the motto is a bit weak and effeminate, but it is worth making friends here. The motto is standing at the Lin Thatch. Lin asked in confusion, "Where did you get it? But so many spirit stones. This we cannot get." 6 adventurers immediately came to put his arm around everyone's shoulder and said, "We are brothers. What are you being polite about? We got 500 pills today." But unexpectedly, the language dodged the person doing 6 adventures. Almost fell on my face. The slogan immediately returned the bag of spirit stones. Nie Li talks too much. I can't get this spirit stone. Should return to you. But Nie Li held Zhao Yu's hand and said, "Take it." Before arriving, I also took 2 spirit stones from you. The slogan quickly withdrew his hand and said shyly, "These 2 things are not the same. I only give you 2 spirit stones. Why give me so much?" Nie Li said, "Why is it not the same? You have 10 divided by 2. Now I have a few hundred pills. I will divide them into 10 for you. It's normal. But still polite to me, right? Consider us friends, or we will move out." The motto was silent for a moment, and then accepted. "Okay. Then I will accept these few spirit stones first." "Thank you." Nie Li smiled and said, "Okay. So we go back to practice. What happened before then, tell me." Said, then immediately ran back to the room. Make the mind as stiff as an avocado. 6 adventurers also laughed and said goodbye to the police officer. He said, "Be careful." On the side of the room of the photographer, the golden zither wandered around searching every corner. Nie Li said happily, "At this time, the most important spirit stone is enough. Real cultivation begins now." Nie Li suddenly felt his sleeve move. Then Vu Dim flew out, surprising him. Smile and say, "Sister is always in my sleeve. Almost forgot." Vu Dim dap on your body radiates an aura. Has great support for our practice. In your sleeve practice, the power of heaven will increase many times faster than outside. Nie Li said that I am very embarrassed, right? These spirit stones are for you. Cultivation requires this. Vu Dim took it. I know these spirit stones are very valuable. Thank you. Nie Li laughed and said, "Sister Wu Yan is too polite. Look, I help cure people. Just a little. Then you can earn 500 spirit stones. Later, we cure more people. Surely the spirit stones earned will be more. So this amount of spirit stones is nothing." Vu Dim looked at Nie Li with emotion, and he happily talked to each other. "Such a long time. I am sincerely treating you like a friend." Vu Dim said, "No matter, would still have to thank you. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid it's sealed in the Black Spring." Forever said, then flew to kiss Nie Li lightly on the cheek. Made him look at Vu Dim blankly, thinking. Since leaving the Black Flame Tower, the goddess seems to have become gentler. Can Sai add a little humanity? It's not too early for Nie Li to speak up. We should start cultivating, goddess sister. Then put a spirit stone in front of the eyes. Then focus on cultivating and absorbing spiritual energy into the body. Besides, Vu Dim quickly practiced many of the stones that the photographer just gave. Both of them are flaming with gas. Quickly, the spirit stone of the photographer was extinguished, and he was so quick to complain. The power of these stones transmitted into the soul of the sea, and there was no reaction at all. Let's try again. Then take out another one. Just focus on training until the sky changes color. The photographer absorbed a bunch of spirit stones into his body. The air is burning. Leo melon in the spirit of high is constantly growing. The flower is also slowly coming out. However, the spirit stone was quickly extinguished. Makes him uneasy, crosses his arms, sighs. 10 pieces of Lingzi. I can only raise my cultivation level a little. It's all sucked up by Leo. I don't know what it is. But this Leo rope, it's also considered a part of my body. Chen Tao Kai, good or bad, this power has a place to be used. So he took out another spirit stone. He said, let's say 200. 300 stones can be used for a long time. Based on this speed, see if it will be used up soon. Can we break through heaven at that time? The photographer is engrossed in cultivation. Kim Dan is still sleeping well. The number of stones being absorbed one at a time. There's a lot of momentum going on. The needle here also opened its eyes. See the delicious food in front of you. And she closed her eyes and said to herself, come here today. One time, they can't absorb too much solar energy. Should reinforce a little bit. And now my VI. It's probably equivalent to a quartet transmission. Waiting for the wind to peak. It can break through heaven. So fate, each level VI may not be the same. Think about this. When he opened his eyes, Kim Dan has dealt with all the spiritual stones. With a tight belly, it makes the photographer say, good fire. Take the broken spirit stones and eat them all. So the spirit stones that have not been used, why think? Then he took out a new spirit stone. Then the photographer threw it down. Let's see how Venus feels. Startled to wake up. Hurried to run to the shining spirit stone. Immediately picked up the spirit stone to chirp pleasure. Then turn around and run, afraid of being taken. And immediately he puts his mouth up to the scabbard to finish the stone in a few seconds. It's all eaten. It's got a keen eye for the photographer. It makes him itchy. He says he eats the new spirit stone. I ate some kir crumbs earlier. Not enough, no sao. The chicken chirped again. Look at the photographer and tell him you know that too. Haha, in my place spirit stones are not enough. If you want to eat, listen to me. The needle immediately nodded. The photographer put his hand up and said, last time, want to assimilate the gas in your egg. But this time you have to listen to me. And so he breathed his spirit into the vasic. Then his body and the chicken glowed brightly. It's like falling into the space of a chicken. This is in the body of the Buddha. The flow of power is so terrifying. Compared to the celestial unicorn, it is stronger than some parts. I don't know the future later. To what extent will it develop? General, we have to assimilate our gas first. Make a trace of your soul. It has become my beast. Put your hands on the soul of the ocean. He praised very well, feeling the soul connection between me and Venus. It's getting a little stronger. Go one step further. But suddenly, a power came out. The photographer fell flat. The outside surprised him. I look at Kim. He said he was shot out. When it comes to my soul, it is still impossible to rush. Even though SAO seems to have made progress. This is a reward for you. When giving the spirit stone, immediately needle operated to chew the tip of the copy with interest. The photographer laughed at that too. The chicken looked up. The photographer said to eat. Eat quickly in my place. There are not many spirit stones. I can only give you a few pieces a day. Otherwise, I will not be able to feed you. That startled the guitar. Immediately pick up the spirit stone to cuddle. Slowly bite each piece. Photographer exclaimed, Kim Dan, you feel like you're getting smarter. Dao Deem here also looks at Kim Dan and laughs ha ha. Then close your eyes and continue to practice. I have felt the meaning of heaven. The world and the soul of the sea of the. We've focused our resources. There was a fire burning. I am glad that this is the soul. It doesn't seem like the others. Is a yellow flame that resembles fire. My destiny has protected me. I can feel it. The power of this yellow flame. It's so big that nothing compares to it. Maybe the secret of my identity is in there. Just like that in the room right now, the AI part of their work. Practice non-stop. Over time, the dawn has risen. The sun is rising. Reggie whined. It's just an evening. I've used more than half of the stones. Made 6 amazing adventures. The photographer spoke so quickly. But the spirit stones are not enough. Think about how to get more. 6 questions to ask, right? What are you doing so fast now? Motto goes to say photographer. 6 adventure. I have to go somewhere that's interested in coming with me. Happy to ask where to go. The 4 words replied. It's one of the 3 largest practices in the temple. The Holy Spirit. 6 bewildered adventurers asked where it was. The motto explains. The Holy Spirit. It's the safest training site. In 3 training areas. The request is also the highest. Soul quality must reach a certain level. Can go in. When you get there, you know. The photographer agreed. I've never been there before. Smiling motto says, as if you are familiar with this place. That's it. The 3 of them dragged each other out of the hospital. Meanwhile, the boys in the back looked at Theo. Cold and cold talk. 3 people go out together. Then I'll report to the young master. Follow me. They're watching closely. The others rushed to follow. Quickly, the aphorisms went to the great mountain. 6 adventurers asked the photographer. Looks like someone's following us. It's just a little shrimp. You don't have to pay attention to them inside the temple. They can't do anything. Where are we? If you want to cause trouble, go to the training area. But it's got to be 2 other training areas. And to the Holy Spirit. They can't do anything. Going south is coming. Immediately in front of the 3 of them was a big stela. With countless people here. It's very noisy. There is the Holy Spirit of heaven. The top 2 students in the spirit of prediction will be listed there. The photographer was surprised to ask for the training. Really interesting SAO ratings. There are names of a lot of people here. He looked up at the 6 men and said in surprise. The 10th long dance. Kim's 13th performance. Strictly the enemy of thought language ranked 21st. United States ranked 137th. 6 questions to say. Try not to be on the table. Photographer commented, or he just wants to be humble. I don't like to show up. More like the Holy Spirit. The table also does not rank according to actual strength. Look at the name on the board. Ranked 67th. Han is much older than Long Wyan or Kim Yan. It's a little stronger, but behind. The title confirms that. It's not based on personal power. It's the ability of the soul to connect with the heavens. Cultivation of celestial power. You have to communicate with heaven. From there comes the power, usually the stronger. The ability to communicate will be higher, but there are exceptions. There are some extremely gifted people. They can overcome the limits of power. For example, in the top 10, Long Yu Yin is the one who just got his name on the board. The surprised photographer asked, comparing the ability to communicate with the heavens after spending. The explanation of the divine vision is not simple. This place has been a vision. Practice here can enhance our ability to communicate with the heavens. A lot of photographers wonder if this place is the SAOI. Title confirms correct. It's also where the celestial forces are most concentrated. The position of the eye is limited. Each student per month, only trained in the spirit of foresight. A timer whose name is on the board. You can practice 3 hours. The higher the rank, the longer the time to practice. Out at the end of the year, high-ranking students are also rewarded. Regent admiring. What is the end of the year bonus? You can get the spirit stones. Knitting pharmaceutical products. Who ranked first on the board? You're rewarded with a 5-pack. 5 crystals flower. A dragon blood-loving spirit. Qualities excellent mature. There is also a medicinal pot that loves the spirit of flowers. The top 5 were awarded a 4-time prize. 3 jewelry bullets. A dragon blood spirit and 1,000 spirit stones. 6 puzzling adventures ask what the soul-loving flower. The photographer said something. 5 products can be worth up to 6,000 spirit stones. That's it. It's about 500 of them. Love is also hard to find. Used to practice spiritual love. That's what the 6 winds sound like. If every year there's a name on the board, it's not SAO. That's the title of the nod. There's a prize for the top 5. You can only take it once. After receiving the reward, they are no longer ranked on the Holy Spirit. 6 depressed adventurers say can only get once. It's a shame. The phrase goes on. The top 5 is the hardest to get. The most rewards. Maybe all students want it. That the closing date of this year's ranking. It's only a month away from now. I want to get the training resources. This table looks like a shortcut. Let's try it out. 6 can agree. Let's see if we have a good or bad position. I am also a 5-fold genius. Yes, even the photographer agrees. And so, the 3 of them entered into the Holy Spirit. Meanwhile, the Lord's people here promised to talk. Not thinking about that, they went to the Holy Spirit. Scene. One of them said they'd be in there at most an hour. I can't believe they didn't come. 2 other training places. Let's continue to see the others. I agree, that makes sense. There are other people talking to each other. Hey, you know the 3 people who say the Holy Spirit? The Kia replied. What? We'll know soon enough. Now all the forces in the temple. They all target them. I want to see what these 2 guys are doing. A heavenly root 8 products. A 5-year-old will definitely be at the top. The guy said don't confirm. You've been watching words for years. There is no name on the board. The other guy asked me where the real power was. But others argue that conservation is no joke. Transferring scenes at the Celestial Institute. If you are reading a book, there is a call. Serious son. Some people have come to report their thoughts to the city of the fairy tale, and then seriously scorn to speak the 4 words constantly. Never been in position before 200 in 5 years. On the Holy Spirit. Maybe this time too. It's no surprise. The officer reminded me of something. The Queen also ran to the Holy Spirit. Then I heard that and stood up. Wake up and tell us to go. Transforming the scene inside the divine scene. On the altar, There's a lot of people sitting on the steps. The photographer asked if this altar was her spiritual eye.